also doing this has helped me realize that we really do need to get a lot more young adult books in the nonfiction area. We're building up our collection of our fiction areas, but as I'm going, that's perfect. That one's in there. That's great. So we really need to start building up our collection in our nonfiction areas too. So, math people, check these out. I can get all of them. If there's something you're going, no way, that is just absolutely no good, let me know. I'll get your feedback. So before you leave today, check that out. That one is in there. I just didn't have time. I just checked that one this morning and it's in there, so we're good. Cool. Okay, so get to the library research guide. If you need help getting there, let me know. Everybody there? Okay. Do you need some help getting there?
Just over here.
Let's see where you're at.
Where's the library research guide?
Okay, let's go. You need to search for reading in the content area. I'll show you a better way to do that.
Well, I can go back to the.
No, you're fine. But just go to the home page and you can go to the tab down at the bottom that says Research Guide and Search.
I think that's what I did.
Did you?
I didn't do search, I just went to the.
You just went to the tab instead, yeah. So do your search and it'll pull it up right from that point. Okay. Well, I wanted to quickly go through, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just wanted to show you a couple things in terms of searching by genre, okay? So if you go to that tab, we've tried to give you some hints and some helps in terms of how to search by genre, because sometimes what you're told isn't the best way to actually search by genre when you're in a catalog. So for example, if you go back to your time when you were in school in American culture, remember that? And you did your chapters, and remember trying to find things with lifelong learning, because that was one of the topics given, but that's not necessarily the best way to search, because it talks a lot from the idea of lifelong learning from the student standpoint, but not necessarily lifelong learning from the educator's standpoint, which is what you were researching. So a lot of that is just kind of thinking, okay, how do I search for these things? So what we tried to do with this is give you some hints and give you some tips on how to search by genre. So I'm not going to go over each of these. You guys can read it. You can, if you need that help, you can go back to this and review it and use it, but it just gives you some ideas and some suggestions on terms to use and how to search. So example, for special needs, you use the term disabilities. In almost any book that is a special needs book, it's going to have in the subject heading disabilities. If you have a very specific disability, you can search by that disability. But disabilities is kind of the subject heading that pulls up that type of material for you. Okay, so does this make sense to you guys? Most of this, remember when you, I've got some that you use in the subject field, which is very targeted with the subject field, like we talked about last week. Subject is going to be very targeted. It's going to be that controlled language. It's going to be things that have been categorized under that heading. The keyword search, which is that word or phrase search, is going to be if that word shows up anywhere. So sometimes it's better to search by keyword because it's not necessarily a subject heading, but like genre, we have things in there by genre. So for example, like historical fiction, when we have gone back and tried to put in the genre historical fiction as an actual genre, because it is an actual genre, but it doesn't necessarily, is not necessarily part of the record when we import that. So we try to go back, and for those books that we find, and as we find them, we're trying to add that genre historical fiction. Well, it's not a subject. So if you search by historical fiction as a subject, you're going to find books about historical fiction. You're not going to find fiction books that are labeled as the genre historical fiction. So that's an example of when you would want to make sure that you use a keyword search instead of a subject search. So that's listed here too. That's why biography can be a subject, because that is a specific subject term. But a genre like young adult, you would want in your keyword, your word or phrase, because it's not necessarily a subject heading. All right? Kind of just a recap from last week. So just examples here of what you can do if searching by genre. Reading level, I know that's of real interest. So what I've done is I've pulled in some things to help you locate reading level what Lexile level is. There's a Scholastic level. There's just some really cool tools out there that educators and parents, and that's another thing that you want to do. Even if you are a science teacher or a math teacher, you want to help parents direct them to the reading level that their students can read. And so these sources are also great for parents to look at and to be able to find materials that are at the appropriate reading level for their students that will challenge them just enough without making them feel like they can't do it and are failures. And there's just no way that they're ever going to get it. You want that happy medium. So as you're going through this, if you guys are keeping in your portfolio, or you're keeping some kind of documentation so that you have sources that you think this would be really helpful sources to use when I am in the classroom, make sure that you include things like this in terms of reading of the content, because sometimes we get so focused with our area of teaching. That's why you have this class, because it's kind of that, it's incorporating reading throughout all disciplines. All right, so how many of you have ever searched Amazon for books? Okay, pretty much every. How many of you have gone to the advanced search for searching Amazon for books? Okay, go there now. And take the book that you have, the title of the book that you have, and let's do a search. So I'm going to go, this link takes you directly to the advanced search. And so you have so many more different options when you go to the advanced search, especially if you're looking for very specific things, specific grade level, specific genre, things like that. So if you, let's say you just do a search on your book, and sometimes it has it, sometimes it doesn't, but if you do a search on your book, and go ahead and search your book that you've got. Okay, so I'll do the Silver Chair. Would help if I spelled it right. That's the other thing, you do have to spell right, unfortunately. Okay. So I'm just going to pull up a book. When you guys get a book, just look up at me. Okay, a lot of times when you scroll down here, if you go ahead and scroll on down, it doesn't always do it, but you'll see reviews and you'll see product details. And notice here, Lexile Measure. That is a reading level. That is a reading level. And a lot of children's books, even in Amazon, will give you that level. Sometimes it will even give you the interest level, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and the reading level. So the interest level may be 8th grade, and the reading level may be 3rd grade. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you have to take the time to scroll on down, and kind of see that information. So if you're looking just in Amazon and you're looking at a specific book, you can often see it right here. Now Lexile gives you, we put a table here on the research guide to kind of show you the age, the typical Lexile level. And when you are creating a list of books for a student, or you're checking out a book for a level for students, you want it kind of in the middle. You want it between ranges. And so, again, so that it challenges them just a little bit. It's not too easy, but